What's going on, everyone? Model Deer Farmer back with you today, and today we're going to be going over the results from first round of Model Tractor Madness, the round of 128 tractors. So we're going to be showing you guys the results today. So in our first game, we had the John Deere Model G defeat the New Holland T8 435 half track 65% to 35%. In the second game, we had the John Deere 88RX 410 Farm Show 2023 version beat the John Deere 8420 European Edition 68% to 32%. You guys killed it with making John Deere's go on to the next round. So many John Deere's made it, like barely any of the other branded tractors made it. So yeah, definitely lots of John Deere's and a lot of older John Deere's that made it to the next round as well. But in game 3, we had the John Deere 8320R defeat the New Holland T6 180 Blue Power 70% to 30%. In the fourth game, we had the John Deere 7280R beat the Case IH 340 half track 72 to 28%. In the sixth game, the John Deere 8530 beat the John Deere 8400R 78% to 22%. In the seventh game, we had the John Deere 8850 defeat the John Deere 6400 61% to 39%. In the game 5, because it got a little bit out of order because I messed up the time, the John Deere 8370R wins over the New Holland T8 435 78 to 22%. This one, you're killing me, guys. I wanted my 8200 to keep going, but you guys liked the 8400 or the 4020 better. So in game 8, the John Deere 4020 with the cab is going to beat the John Deere 8200 63% to 37%. The 8200 made it to the championship game last year, so definitely a favorite out early. In the ninth game, we have the John Deere Model A Unstyled winning over the John Deere 7290R Gold version 59 to 41%. In the 10th game, we have the John Deere 4430 beating the International 826 77 to 23%. In the 11th game, we have the John Deere 630 beating the Ford 8970 65 to 35%. In game 12, we have the John Deere 4450 that's going to beat the John Deere 9620RX Silver version 82 to 18%. In game 13, the 8370R Dusty version is going to beat the John Deere 8R370 64 to 36%. In game 14, the John Deere 5020 is going to beat the John Deere 8310R 76 to 24%. In game 15, we have the John Deere Model A Styled that's going to beat the John Deere 9510R 55 to 45%. In game 16, we have the John Deere 4960 that's going to beat the John Deere 7800 70 to 30%. Fairly close here game for game 17, the John Deere 9RX 640 is going to beat the John Deere 720 55 to 45%. Another pretty close one here. In game 18, we have the Fendt 1050 Vario that's going to beat the Versatile 365 54 to 46%. In game 19, we have the John Deere 9560 RT that's going to beat the John Deere 9470 RX 72 to 28%. For game 20, we have the John Deere 7130 that's going to beat the Case IH 380 AFS 74% to 24%. In game 21, we have the John Deere 730 Diesel that's going to beat the John Deere 9620 55 to 45%. In game 22, we have the John Deere 8345 RT that's going to beat the John Massey Ferguson 8680 64 to 36%. In game 23, we have the John Deere 4960 FFA version that's going to beat the International 1066 58 to 42%. In game 24, we have the John Deere 8630 that's going to beat the Froelich tractor from the 70s set 74 to 26%. In game 25, the John Deere 8300 FFA model is going to beat the John Deere Model H 77 to 23%. In game 26, we have the John Deere 8320 that's going to beat the John Deere Model 60 from the 70s set 58 to 42%. In game 27, we have the John Deere 4010 from the 70s set that's going to beat the AGCO DT225 74 to 26%. In game 28, we have the John Deere 4440 FFA version that's going to beat the John Deere 9570R 76 to 24%. In game 29, we have the John Deere 4450 FFA version that's going to beat the New Holland T9 600 Blue Camo 70 to 30%. In game 30, we have the John Deere 8960 that is going to beat the John Deere 4440 56 to 44% in a pretty close game. For game 31, we have the 8RX John Deere 8RX 410 going up against the Case IH STX 440. The 8RX is going to win 64 to 36%. In game 22, we have the John Deere 8630 with the blade that's going to beat the John Deere 8345R 71 to 29%. In game 33, we have the John Deere Model G styled version that's going to beat the John Deere 7R 330 64 to 36%. In game 34, we have the John Deere 8245R silver version that's going to beat the Ford 8240 65 to 35%. In game 35, we have the John Deere Model D styled that's going to beat the John Deere Model D unstyled 81 to 19% in a landslide matchup. In game 36, we have the Steiger Cougar KM280 that's going to beat the Case Traction 65 horsepower steam engine 78 to 22%. For game 37, we have the John Deere 8R410 that's going to beat the Case International 2594 66 to 34%. In game 38 of the first round, we have the John Deere 7250R beating the Case IH 150 78 to 22%. For game 39, we have the John Deere 7290R silver version that's going to beat the Claas Xerion 5000 73 to 27%. In game 40, we have the John Deere 9620 that's going to beat the John Deere Model 70 71 to 29%. In game 41, the John Deere 7310R is going to beat the New Holland T8 435 corduroy version 75 to 25%. In game 42, we are going to have a different branded winner. We have the Allis-Chalmers D21 beating the John Deere 8530 from the 2007 Farm Show version 63 to 37%. In game 43, we have the Versatile 580 that's going to beat the John Deere Soundguard 58 to 42%. In game 44 of the first round, we have the John Deere 7630 that's going to beat the 9570 RX 65 to 35%. In game 45, we have the John Deere 9430 that's going to beat the Co-op Implements Panther 2 70 to 30%. In game 46, we have the Waterloo Boy that's going to beat the Massey Ferguson 8737 57 to 43%. For game 47, we have the John Deere 820 that's going to beat the Ford 8N Red version 54 to 46%. And in game 48, we have the John Deere 4020 with duals that's going to beat the Challenger MT685E 60 to 40%. In game 49, we have the John Deere 7530 that's going to beat the New Holland T9 600 Smart Tracks version 77 to 23%. In game 50, we have the John Deere 6220 that's going to beat the John Deere 6215R silver version 63 to 37%. In game 51, we have the John Deere 4230 that's going to beat the John Deere 4010 65 to 35%. In game 52, we have the John Deere 9620R that's going to beat the Case IH MX 135 74 to 26%. In game 53, we have the John Deere 4850 that's going to beat the New Holland T7030 76 to 24%. In game 54, we have the John Deere 9R540 that's going to beat the New Holland T7 235 73 to 27%. In game 55, we have the John Deere Crawlers that are going to beat the John Deere Model A from the 70s set 75 to 25%. In game 56, we have the Waterloo Boy from the 70s set that's going to beat the John Deere 7230R 65 to 35%. In game 57, we have the John Deere 4430 going up against the John Deere Sound Idea 70 from the 70 set, and the 4430 is going to win it 75 to 25%. In game 58, we have the John Deere 4850 FFA version that's going to beat the 8560 58 to 42%. In game 59, we have the John Deere 4760 that is going to beat the John Deere 730 from the 70 set 80 to 20%. For game 60, we have the John Deere 4955 FFA version that is going to beat the John Deere 8130 59 to 41%. For game 61, we have the John Deere 7020 FFA version that's going to beat the Massey Ferguson 8270 74 to 26%. In game 62, we have the John Deere 7270R that is going to beat the Ford 8N Blue version 68 to 32%. In game number 63, we have the John Deere 9320T going up against the John Deere 6210R, and the 9320T is going to win it 81 to 19%. And our last match of the first round, the John Deere 4450 Prestige version is going to beat the John Deere 8370R 89 to 11%. So those are going to be your first round winners. All the winners will move on to the next round, which will start on Monday, and voting for that will end Wednesday night. So stay tuned for that. Hope you guys enjoyed the results of round one, but that's pretty much all I know for now. So hope you guys enjoy the results and keep voting for Model Tractor Madness. If you enjoyed, give the video a like. Also, consider subscribing to the channel. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave those down in the comment section below. But I hope you guys all have a great day, and I will see you all in the next one.